You need something to do. You need an outside thing to do. You need to have something, some goal, some mission, some whatever that you wake up and you're excited about. It doesn't even have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be life-changing. But just do other things. Make friends and talk to people outside that are not on your screen. Make friends and talk to people outside. Like, you have to have something else to do, or else you're going to default back to the things that feel most comfortable, right? The bad things that you do because they are easy to do and make you feel good for a bit. If you want to stop them, you have to do something else. You can't sit there all day with willpower and expect it all to go away. Expect the temptation to go away. Like at the moment, I'm writing a book, I'm building a YouTube channel, I'm doing 8 hours of school a day, I'm learning one language full-time, I'm learning German, somewhat passively. And then I'm in Turkish Cyprus right now, the Turkish part of Cyprus. And so I'm trying to learn Turkish for the next 2 weeks or whatever. So merhaba. And so you need to have other things to do. Where I live in Chad, where I actually live, it's a very outside culture. Especially considering that it's not nearly as bad as in the West, where let's say you're handed an iPad out of the womb, and you've got like a laptop and a phone and an iPad and then another iPad and a bunch of gaming devices. You want to get off those and actually live in the real world. But the thing that they do is that if you had no internet, you would have to find things to do in the real world. It's like a humbling reality if you try to do that. If you try going on like an internet fast, like on a dopamine detox, and you realize that you actually struggle, whereas maybe you thought that you were doing okay, but then you realize you're not actually. If you want to get off of your screen, you have to have something to do. Again, people is like the best way of fixing this. If you have other people to spend time with, so long as they're not like leading you down bad paths. Like if they're all on their screens all the time, and hanging out with them just means hanging out together on your screen, then that might not work. But cultivating actual friendships outside of the screen, doing things with other people, simple things like, so many people have like actual clinical depression, and they find that it's cured after 2 weeks of like walking outside, climbing trees, and jumping in muddy puddles. It's because you get so disconnected from reality. Like it's such a like you've heard the phrase so often, disconnected from reality. And you may think that you're fine until you try, and then you realize that you're actually a lot more deeper into this than you thought. Maybe not. Maybe you do realize how deep you are, and you want to get out. You could do this a slowly progressive way. If you're like 14 hours a day, next week you're going to want it to be like 10 hours a day. The week after that, maybe 8 hours a day, till you're down to like a few hours a week, right? Or you can go the cold turkey route, which is basically when it comes to quitting drugs, if you're addicted to some sort of substance, and you go cold turkey, which means you just completely stop completely, your body apparently your skin feels like a cold turkey, is what I've heard. And so the phrase cold turkey, it means going complete, full-on stop on the addiction. You quit it completely. And it can work for dramatic, like if you have like if you're moving or something, you're doing something else kind of dramatic in your life, you can kind of tie it in. But if everything else in your life is the exact same, deciding to just quit is very difficult, because nothing will change if nothing changes, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. So you have to be somewhat aggressive about it if you're going to go cold turkey. It was very interesting. They did a study during the Vietnam War. They found out that I think it was 15% of soldiers in the Vietnam War, American soldiers, were addicted to heroin, which everyone was all afraid now, because like 15% of our dudes are all addicted to drugs, which is way more than they thought. They found that I think like over 90% of the ones that returned home, only like 1% of them got re-addicted within the year. So basically, like 99% of these soldiers quit their heroin addiction literally overnight. They did it not because they did whatever, just because the whole environment changes. So like when they were in Vietnam, they were surrounded by the constant stress of war. It was easily accessible. Their friends were doing it, and basically it's on their mind all the time. So it's on your mind all the time. You're stressed, it'll make you feel good, and it's like easily gettable, right? But then you go home, there's no more stress of war. You're actually like relieved to be home, right? You've got other things to think about. There are no more constant cues everywhere, right? It's not easily accessible anymore, and all of a sudden the addiction is gone. And so it could be that if you want to change, you'd have to do something radical. And if that's the case, if it's a really bad addiction in your life, that you may have to do it. That may be the only way of fixing the problem, is a complete and radical change in your life. It could be moving here, or doing this or doing whatever. Like Hamza Ahmed, right? Was living his life, you know, of complete degeneracy. He moved back to his parents' home and like virtually, like almost instantly, his whole mindset, his whole life changed everything else that is around you. And it's like you have a new environment. Even just like rearrange your bedroom. If you find yourself watching porn all the time in your bedroom, rearrange your bedroom, like move this stuff around, and all of a sudden when you walk in, it's not the same room that you've been walking into for the past 2.5 years. It's a different environment. By the way, if you want to hear more of me, I just made an online community, a course. Basically, I just made this community where inside it I'll have courses and videos and things. It'll be like these videos that you're watching now, but with more in-depth stuff, with more factual knowledge, more detail into it. And so if you're interested, you can go click the link below. The first 25 people will get it for free for life. But if you're like the 26 plus, you're gonna have to pay. I would advise that you do it somewhat quickly.